it's late. They win 52-0 against Oakland, but then they can't put two. They haven't yet this season put 2 wins together. They just haven't. It's a win then a loss, a win then a loss, a win then 3 losses. They cannot string 2 wins together for some reason. So I like the way Colt McCoy's playing. I think Washington, at home will have enough to beat the Rams.
All right, you know what St. Louis is doing, folks. They're setting this up to like them next year, and they're going to go 0-12 for the first 12 games.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, it's Jeff Fisher is basically doing what it takes to keep his job one more season.
Yeah,
playing well in the stretch, giving everybody hope.
I'm wondering what he'll do if he has like a quarterback that starts the season and goes through training camp as his starting quarterback, and what he can do with one that'll last the whole season. Because I don't think he's had that yet.
Not since Steve McNair.
Yeah. Especially in the Rams. He keeps, having to switch up his quarterbacks because starts with Bradford and he gets hurt. That seems like his resume so far.
Yeah. All right, the next game up where there's disagreement, the Baltimore Ravens traveling to the Miami Dolphins. Steve and Jim are both picking the Dolphins. I am picking the Ravens. And I'm going to tell you why. I had Miami in here earlier, and I nixed it at the last break because if the Dolphins can play this horrifically against the Jets, I don't see them beating the Ravens, even at home. I was a big believer in Miami turning the corner about 4 weeks ago, and they have done absolutely nothing since to make me believe it. So that's why I'm picking the Ravens here.
See, to me, this is a huge game for the Dolphins because you look at the rest of their schedule. They have this game against the Ravens, then they have to go to New England, but then their final 2 home games are against Minnesota and the Jets. So to me, this game, if they can win this game, you're going to assume that they're not going to win the game in New England. But if they win this game against Baltimore, I see them winning those last 2 games without much trouble. This is their shot to make it into the postseason. This game is just monumental to them, and they know that. So to me, I think they have enough talent. Yeah, they had a rough night tonight. Who knows what it was. But they've played well enough, and Baltimore has proven that they are just another one of those teams that it seems like they play well enough to almost win games. Where they should be so much better than they are. And I know Jim agrees with this because he's been touting their defense all year. They should be better than what they are. And it's just something is not clicking with them to where they can win these games.
I like the Dolphins in a game where you have a nice mix of rushing and passing. Clearly tonight, they barely won because the Jets just ran the ball a majority of the time. So they never could really get their offense going. If this game turns out to be exactly what the Ravens have played the last 2 games, the Ravens should lose. They've been in high passing games with their opponents the last 2 games, and they have not been able to win. Then against the Saints, the Chargers, and I like Ryan Tannehill. I think Ryan Tannehill can throw a 3-touchdown game easy, without any problems.
He's having a good year.
He's having a great year, and their defense at home it's been very stout. So this is another game. I think it's a close call, but at the end of the day, I'm going to go with the Dolphins for the reasons I gave.
This is a big game for the Ravens too because if they don't win the North, then this has big tiebreaker implications for the wild card. Because right now they're on the outside looking in, and Miami's in, so this is big for both. So
should be a great football game.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. The next game up, the Indianapolis Colts versus the Cleveland Browns. Jim and Steve are both taking the Colts. You know what? I'm taking the Browns. And you know why? Johnny Jam Boogie.
Oh, my God.
Johnny Jam Boogie. At home, first start. And I'm telling you, it's just going to be a vibe thing here.
They haven't officially named him the starter.
I know, okay. But I got a feeling. I don't think there's any way Hoyer comes out. I don't think you can't now. You took him out of that game last week. You can't put Hoyer back in now. He's played god-awful the last 2 games.
No, but here, look. They took him out at the end of the game, when the game was well gone. So Johnny Manziel gets in there. The defense, they're playing, I'm not sure what to call it, but they're playing scratch defense. They're not looking for the big plays. They're not looking for the game change. They're just looking to make it healthy till the end of the game. So Johnny does what? Throws 60-some yards, scores a TD on his own that they basically handed to him. So I still think Hoyer's the guy. And they did this to just say, hey, you want the job or don't you?
Johnny Jam.
Yeah.
Oh,
and honestly, regardless of whoever they put in at quarterback, I don't see Luck throwing for any less than 3 touchdowns in this game.
Yeah. And by the way,
their offense is just too good, and even if it's a high-scoring game, Indianapolis is going to outscore Cleveland.
And by the way, the comments that I made are the exact comments Mike Pettin made at his press conference.
Yeah.
So that's how he even views the situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
With the exception of the very last part, which is that's why Hoyer still has the job.
Johnny Jam Boogie. I'm pulling for Johnny Jam Boogie. And I was not a Manziel fan, but I just think Hoyer has played so god awful since Josh Gordon has come back to the team. I don't know if one has anything to do with the other, but he just has. I have Josh Gordon on my fantasy team. I need somebody to throw him the ball in the end zone. And that's what it is. So, okay, I'm on the hot seat this week. Oh, jeez. Seattle at Philadelphia. Jim and Steve are both picking the Eagles. I am picking the Seahawks. And I'm telling you why. Because after that loss 2 weeks ago, they came back with a chip on their shoulder. And if there's one defense that can stand up to Philadelphia, it's the Seahawks team. They can run the ball really well. They can control the clock, keep that quick tempo Philadelphia offense off the field. I like the Seahawks in this game, even though I usually don't like West Coast teams going east.
Well, to me, Philadelphia is playing just as good as Seattle has in the last couple weeks. And Seattle's a 500 team on the road. So to be a 500 team on the road, flying cross country, to play in one of the most difficult stadiums to play in, especially in bad weather, I think this is going to be a running game duel between Marshawn Lynch and LaShawn McCoy, and I just think McCoy's got more in the tank right now.
My view of the game is this game is about who's the toughest mother around. Who's the toughest mother on the block?
Can you spell mother?
Toughest mother on the
Mother.
block.
And I think it's the Eagles. Their defense is playing at a high level, and I would even say a higher level than the Seahawks right now, especially in terms of their third phase. Their offense has been pretty much unstoppable by anybody. And while I do appreciate the fact that this will be a tough, hard-fought battle, I think at the end of the day, the Eagles still keep one up on the Seahawks.
All right. And the last game where there is disagreement, the New England Patriots travel to the San Diego Chargers. Steve and I are both picking the Patriots. Jim, you are taking the Chargers at home.
Yeah, I'm taking them at home because if they could beat the Ravens on the road, and seeing as how the Green Bay Packers beat the Patriots, I think the Patriots lose 2 in a row, and they lose 2 in a row to that San Diego Chargers team that should have scored like 10 points this weekend rather than 30+. It says a lot to me. I think the Packers gave a great formula for winning, and that's don't throw to your top 2 receivers. Throw to everybody else. The Chargers have plenty of great guys to throw the football to put in their hands, and I think their defense will do just enough to keep the offense relevant, and I see a Chargers win.
I'm picking the Patriots because I look at what they did to Green Bay, or almost did to Green Bay, almost came back. They were stuck in neutral for most of the first half offensively. I don't think that they'll make that same mistake twice. I've written off the Patriots before. I've written off Tom Brady before. He's come back to make me look like a giant ass, which isn't all that hard to do. But he did it. I don't see them doing that 2 games in a row. The Packers are a much better team than the Chargers, and so I'll stick with the Pats.
Yeah, I just think the Patriots are a better team. But I was just thinking, let's say Jim is right on 2 of the games this week, because he picked, Jim, you did pick Miami to beat Baltimore, right?
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're right on that game, and you're right on this game, how big is that game on December 14th then, Miami at New England?
That's pretty.
That's going to be a gigantic game.
Yeah.
Easily one of the biggest of the season, because it's only going to be one game separating the two of them. So it could be a division game, like a division champion game.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually funny. It's the Bills, I think, that are holding the lead over the Dolphins. Is that true? I mean, let me take a look here.
They split 1-1.
Yeah.
So they're tied for second, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to be a huge game.
Oh, unbelievable.
From here on out, every game is huge for anybody that's sitting 7-5.
Yeah.
The Texans are probably going to need some help.
It's going to be one of those.
And I can't believe the NFC West will get shafted again. That's terrible.
Yeah.
You know, I really feel bad. Part of me, and I don't know how many times I've said this for the Buffalo Bills. They've really played hard this year. They've played through injuries. They've played tough. 3 of their last 4 games are Denver, Green Bay, and New England.
Yeah, but Denver and New England are both on the road too.
I know. And I mean, they have the one at Oakland, which should be a win, but that's just awful. Because I can't foresee them winning any of those 3 games. So I mean, they put up a good fight, but
Well, so wait a minute. They played Denver,
at
New
Denver,
England?
home against Green Bay, then at Oakland, and they end the season at New England.
Yeah.
I
think they definitely have the firepower to keep up. I mean, there's no question. They've proven that when they played the Jets. I mean, you could sit there and say, the Jets have an awful defense. Well, that's okay, because they did exactly what they were supposed to do against the Jets, which is just blow them up. And I think Kyle Orton can physically, athletically, and is capable of keeping up with these teams. It's just that at the end of the day, you know, is their defense going to be able to do enough to stop those offenses? And I think that's a harder question to answer.
Yeah, that was very tough.
I think the Bills getting Fred Jackson back for a full workload is huge. Because they need to be able to control the clock. They have the defense to make up for whatever offensive miscues may happen. I don't know really how they match up with a Denver and how deep their dime package is to match up with the different sets that Denver uses.
Mm-hmm.
But Denver I don't believe Denver will be able to run the ball. Green Bay doesn't care about running the ball. Oakland is Oakland, and New England, they've used Jonas Gray and LeGarrette Blount to kind of rejuvenate that backfield, but at the end of the day, it's all on Brady's arm. But the only team that I think presents a matchup problem per se would be Denver, just because they use a lot of wide receivers in their packages. Julius Thomas is a matchup nightmare when he's healthy, if he's healthy.
But the one thing Buffalo does do well is pressure the quarterback, and we all know what happens to Peyton when he's got people up his nose.
What?
He's a much different thrower. So I'd be interested to see that.
You guys think Peyton has one more year if they don't win it this year?
In him?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I think he's got several.
Several to me means like more than 3.
Yeah. How old is he? 30?
He's my age, so he's 38.
I think he could play into his early 40s, no problem. The question is whether he'll want to.
Yeah.
How about that Fred Jackson?
I love that guy.
34? Is he 40? I mean, he's just unbelievable.
He's going to be like Satchel Paige, and nobody really knows how old he is.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, he's such a he's such a major talent, and he's such an underrated talent too.
I will agree with that, but I did manage to trade him for Le'Veon Bell, so I'll call that a win. That's it, folks. We're out of time. This has been 87 Sports Fans Live. We're on the air every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time right here at LateNightSportsRadio.com. Wednesday night, catch the Fantasy Greeks starts and sits in 60 minutes. Same bat time, same bat channel. And Thursday night, Bob Sullivan Show 2.0 at 10 Eastern Time. For Jim Sarantias from thefantasyweek.com and Steve Taylor, I'm Keith Grieve. You all have a nice week.
Post-game show is